Alright, everybody, while I'm in the zone here, we're going to go ahead and watch the video just dropped by Jesse, and I will talk through it and basically explain how this is happening, and I feel I have a good context.
The world is shown that when we are born, just moments old, a horrific trespass occurs, which your parents are not told. A service corporation creates documentation to alter your consciousness for life.
This is what we're talking about. So when I was born, I was really young, and my parents got me this, right? This is the first piece of paper I have declaring that I'm alive, which is this one. Right, this declares I'm alive. It's got my upper lowercase name on it. And then I was so young, I didn't sign for this. This was just given to me. I was given to this by my mom and by the government without full disclosure. So needless to say, because I never actually agreed to having this identity, you fill in the rest.
As each baby is born in a hospital and out of sight, we are unlawfully converted into a legal world without knowing or right.
Birth certificate.
Birth certificate without consent or a fight. From lawful to legal, all done in the dark. This world they created is the world of the dead. Legal is lawful as many are fed, to confuse the living, acting as the dead. A legal person is created in the heart of this crime, placed into foreign jurisdiction and ignorance the whole time.
The foreign jurisdiction is the jurisdiction of the service corporation, because their whole job is when you show up to court, right? They just say, oh yeah, it's the corporation we made that is exactly the same as your name. Are they here? But they say it verbally. Is Logan Murphy here? Right? They're talking about your card, and you probably already filled out all the paperwork for the court, which means you're already in the court's jurisdiction. You filled out their paperwork, right? You can't think for yourself. You can't write your own common law court stuff. That's what they're assuming when they use your court stuff, right? And then when you come into the court, they go, oh, excuse me, we're looking to summon Logan Murphy here in the all caps. And you go, this is my driver's license. This is me. Yeah. And then you're in. They got you.
Once born, we are killed on paper by design. And our freedom, our rights, our property robbed blind.
Basically, on the back of the birth certificate is a bond stock number, and that stock and bond is related to your estate, which they use to sell. They sell that, right? They use your body and your signature and the birth certificate as collateral to prop up service corporations. A
bond created to further ensure profit from their crime. They add insurance to fictions when all eventually die. Those who created this system maintain and support this foundational lie. With paperwork created, ensures a corrupted state of mind. And
so why is it a corrupted state of mind? Well, I will just draw this for you, shall we? So we live in an infinite state of being. Okay, we're human. We're kind of infinite, right? I can take, no other species can do this. I can take some oil or some olives and crush it up, and I can turn it into something. We're creators, right? I created that in my birth certificate, or not my certificate of live registry ID, which I'm finishing up right now. So here we go. Here we are walking along. We're born right here is where we're born. Boom, we're born. All right. We're coming out of our mom's life. These are two worlds we can enter. This one is the world of abundance. This one is the world of scarcity. Now, and if you look at a deer, when a deer or a wolverine or something is born, it just gets to run around, right? Why are we the only species that has to pay to exist? Because when we're born, they steal your identification. This is you. We're always still us. This is you, the real flesh and blood you, your intention, right? And it's going this direction. This is just as we're going through life. And oh, your mom has a baby. Now we're born into this. Now this is the money world here. This is the world of the dead, corporate fiction. Because with money is not real. You walk into a bank, you sign a one-way document, you only sign it, and then they give you a credit card. Now you walked into the bank, your signature created their debt. Now they're making money off of it. But they didn't actually exchange anything of value to you, right? They just gave you a card, but now you have to pay them back for a plastic card. That is that world. That's the birth certificate world right here. We go into the scarcity world. We're from the land. We can take land and turn it into infinitely valuable stuff, which would be this paradigm, where we are just beholden to our own jurisdiction, our own authority, right? Reasonable person, people, reasonable man, woman, right? But of course, because we live in Earth, this is only one effect, right? They make the ID, they connect you to the money, right? But in the real world, in the flesh and blood world, you're just a member of the land. You came from the land. You are the land, which means, and we're creators, which means in God's eyes, we are priceless. Now, this paradigm is the world of abundance, and this paradigm is the world of scarcity, because every decision we make from the day we're born is, how can I survive? That's what we think about all day. Money is the gatekeeper in this world. In this world, trust is the thing that props it up, because reasonable people can come up to each other and say, you look like somebody who can take a nice picture. I have a nice car. Let's make some amazing art. Coming together as two people, we trust each other. We're going to work together and create art for whatever reason. Maybe it influences beauty in his kids, and he wants to influence his kids to be car people or mechanical. It doesn't matter. We're trying to create something, right? But because when two people come together, right? When two people come together and they make a trust, that's two intentions colliding. Boom! And now we have infinite capability with two people working together. And this is the world of abundance. This is the world of scarcity. How can I survive money? So you got to pay your rent, you got to pay for food, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. How can I survive money? Which means all of our decisions on how we treat our fellow man is, can I survive if I engage with this other person? Now let's talk about, what do you mean, can I survive if I engage with this other person? Of course I can, right? But let's think about this. I am a vehement anti-masker and a human rights person. If I could wear a mask, I don't wear masks for anybody, because I have a human right to not participate in other people's medical experiments. So when people are giving us the finger, the people who are protesting the pandemic and trying to bring awareness to our fellow citizens, they cannot trust us. They're driving down the road, they look one way. They see the world of trust where they can walk up to their fellow man and say, tell me what is happening in the world because I trust you. Or they look at us and they think, oh no, if I associate with these people, which is the people who are fighting for our rights and to stand up and say, we know this is wrong. We're in our own authority, right? We're reasonable based on our own observations. But when they're driving by, they look and they see, if I walk up to these people and get caught, can I survive? Because it's very clear that people like Adam Skelly and people who don't want to put masks on and demean themselves, especially when you know it's fraud, they don't want to associate. If they get a picture taken with me and then their boss finds out, sees him socializing with somebody, like humans normally do, he could get fired these days. I got fired for not wearing a mask at my job. So hopefully this just clears you up. One paradigm is the money paradigm. This is limited. All we can think about is money, but we don't control money. It's not tangible. It's not real. It's numbers on a screen. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. Can I build anything with this? It's like that Aboriginal saying, you know, when all of this goes away, people are going to find out you can't eat money. And that's why we have a corrupt consciousness, because our survival, our shelter and food is predicated on money versus trust. Continuing.
Done by a service corporation masquerading throughout time to ensure our consciousness is compromised for the rest of our lives. It's an illusion of control, and the trophy is your mind. A private society was created to enforce and to deny. Yet this one secret has surfaced.
Enforce their laws and deny your authority to make your own decisions. Right? I can watch Carey Mullis, the PCR inventor, say himself that this is not meant to tell you you're sick, it doesn't diagnose viruses, and you can't misuse it, which means the people that are using it are engaging in fraud. They're trying to punish my authority to say that with certainty, because I'm not part of the service corporation, I'm not part of the game, I'm just an entity of the corporation, and I'm dead, so I have no rights anyways.
And worldwide, just in time, the truth is no longer hidden, for mankind must rise. In the year 2020, once again, this evil appears. But this time, after what mankind holds so dear, our bodies, our freedom, our consciousness.
Those people of the earth are participating in medical experiments when they're getting sprayed by that stuff. Nobody can make you sit down and say it. Because remember, if somebody comes up to you and says, this piece of paper says that I get to inject you with a vaccine. Remember, at the end of the day, if I say no, it's not you and the piece of paper versus me. It's me and you, and the piece of paper is inconsequential because I don't have full disclosure, I don't give consent. And if you come and try and vaccinate me, well, we know where that goes.
Remains true. For centuries they have waited, and not to be denied, the trophies they've come for, which are ultimately our hearts and our minds.
The people that created this system, by the way, are super not creative, and they literally use us because we are infinitely creative, and they don't create shit. Look at Hollywood. They're not making anything new.
So a lie was created to sell destruction, such evil.
Even then, the productions from Hollywood came from people and their infinite creativeness, so.
Those who created the said trespass when born are the same group of people, more powerful than before. For this evil has grown now to a size we can't ignore.
This evil and this corrupt conscious now means that when I walk into a store, I was in Long and McQuaid in Peterborough here the other day, and I got kicked out for sitting there playing drums. And when the guy told me I was touching things and breathing, I simply highlighted the fact that's what humans do, and he still said I was guilty.
Forced masks, forced vaccines, forced compliance. We must conform.
Forced compliance for you mask wearers who say it's not a big deal. When you wear the mask, you give social proof to everybody else that there is a numbers game where they can now feel confident to talk shit to somebody who chooses human rights and to not wear a mask and subjugate themselves. It just gives you social proof, but little do you know you're actually really weak, and I'm sorry, you can't force somebody to wear a mask, and generally you know it's wrong. If you come up against the right person and they jack you up with reasoning,
Nowhere is this lie ever constrained. From YouTube to Google to big tech, it's seen that these are the enemies of we the people, truth it be. From Fauci to Gates, vaccines from Hollywood, it's no good. It's a race to the bottom, with mankind as a slave. Mass testing, vaccines, just stay at home, behave. What is truth now, and our enemy is ignorance, and those who we were supposed to have trusted. Our world is trapped by fear. A bright light must be seen. It's just one woman's truth, which is all we truly require. It's duty in a courtroom under oath and on stand. Then
That
the
chick
lie
is
is
badass.
over, as is this evil against our fellow man. So don't lose hope, for the solution is about to be shown. Of a paper once hidden, that now has enormously grown. It will face this evil and ride out for the fight. For in that moment, our world will be given a light. Something so much bigger await.
This looks like Toronto. These protests are huge every week, by the way. Come protest in Toronto. Let me put it this way. It's the only place in Ontario where you're allowed to party with no people limit. Come protest.
Us each day. So next up is the solution, and it will blow you away. The universe is wondrous. It knows just what will be. It has provided knowledge to mankind and ensures that evil cease. That mankind has great knowledge and courage in their hearts. Yet in this moment, our world sits in fear. It's now time for this powerful solution to appear. 20 years ago, one man's journey has led us to this day. And through the grace of God, his focus remains. One truth to save our world. This is what he found. A solution so simple, it just needs the light shone on it, and the world will finally see.
Everybody, this is all about claiming your authority and what you know and what you see and what you perceive, and not needing other people to tell you what you've experienced. All you need to do is provide a reason, a chain of reasonable arguments, and the jury of 12 peers will listen carefully. And your real peers, not people who have no power.
This man, Christopher James, started working with me, Jesse. With sound understanding of freedom and truth, in that moment something very special happened. One man, South African, the other, Canadian, came together. The question was asked, will you help me save this world? Yes was replied, and we haven't looked back. As our worlds merge, this light of one truth grew in all our actions and collective hearts. This is now of biblical proportions. We do not fear evil, for it is eviscerated once this truth is in the light. The solution starts with every man and woman knowing who they are not, from a trespass when born. Once known, when legal does not apply to a man or woman, only lawful, this alone is huge. Our public courthouses, accessed correctly as a man or woman, people not persons, is part of this solution. Why? Well, our public courthouses all operate under massive fraud because of the trespass when born, with the solution front and center all along, with just one question to be answered before a jury. Do or don't the rules of civil procedure apply to we the people? The answer is no. Checkmate. With that one fact, our public courthouses can be accessed correctly en masse. This is huge. For the first time, no man or woman can hide behind lawyers and inferior legal courts.
I'm coming after you, personally.
These rules are used to block we the people accessing moving claims of court outside of the legal world.
Ma'am, you can argue this all day long. You're operating on corporate fiction.
I'm telling you, you're here on some charges which were filed.
She's an actor.
I
Number
understand
one.
those charges.
Number one, you keep interrupting me, and I'm going to charge you with contempt, and you'll go to jail.
Contempt of court is spelled C-O-double-N. I know about conning. That's navigation.
Sir,
Contempt is the storm.
I said, be
Don't
quiet
touch me.
until I get
Don't
through
touch
reading
me.
this
You
to
ain't a
you.
gun.
She's powerless.
Don't
Officer?
you touch me. I am the living man protected by universal law.
You keep
Stand
talking.
down.
September the 12th, 2020, our world was given a bright light via a common law court claim established. It sits in the Milton Courthouse in Ontario, Canada, waiting for the world to bear witness for all to see.
The Canucks are coming out of left field with this one.
The bar right now is attacking this filing, for it will expose massive constructive fraud enslaving people.
The bar
This will
loves
ensure Judy
reaping souls.
Mikovits and other courageous people with truth will see justice finally served.
That's section 3 of the Seteki Trust.
Today, Christopher James and Jesse Perez Casanova, united, will provide the solution for our world at a crucial time. Together, we will lead this world out of darkness, as the time has come to battle for mankind. For this knowledge has been hidden and is simple once shown. It is founded on truth and will free every man and woman on this planet. As we hold these public court proceedings around the world on the law of the land, the law of the living man, outside of international maritime admiralty law, the law of the dead, where these governments have no jurisdiction over us,
I'm not dead. Are you dead?
where we the people have the ability to hold those accountable
That proves it.
for this mass scale fraud and evil that has been committed.
Just gonna point out, for some perspective, even these police officers from birth have had their authority usurped from the birth certificate and the creation of that false ID. So when you see cops messing with people, remember, it's all coming from the same corrupt consciousness. Now, it doesn't absolve them of their actions, because regardless of who they are on their badge, or who gave them the authority, or who they are on paper, it's still a man or a woman cuffing you, detaining you, doing things. And if the rules of civil procedure don't apply to us, that means it's a man going after a man, not a corporate fiction administering to another corporate fiction, which is your driver's license or your SIN number.
Against all of us.
Please note that the judge has abandoned the court, is abandoning ship, and I, as the sovereign in this room, claim authority, case dismissed, with cause and prejudice.
We are conducting public court proceedings around the world, where we will invalidate all government activities under the basis of fraud.
Does anybody who's been fucked over by a judge want to run him out of the court while looking him in the eyes? Now is the time to start paying attention.
As we plan to bring this light to the world, as it has the ability to lawfully release us from our enslavement. If you would like to secure you and your family's future, then please support these court proceedings around the world.
Show up to your local courthouse when it's going down. This is the issue that you show up for.
Download our app, Earth United, to keep track of this mass global action, as well as keeping connected to each other on the ground, as we develop power in numbers, leading up to events of biblical proportion.
Thanks for watching.